Did you see Subway agreed to sell their company? Excuse me. Hang on. Yet another astute move from Subway. Sell low. Okay. Subway company. Subway sandwich chain sells itself to private equity firm Roark Capital. They're fucked, dude. Oh my God. Most of the time, private equity makes good companies bad. What the hell are they going to do with a cooked company like Subway? Subway sought $10 billion, a high price that alienated many potential suitors. How crazy is it that Subway has like more locations on Earth than almost any other fast food chain? I know for a while they were number one, but maybe Starbucks passed them over the last decade or so. $10 billion seems like so cheap for what Subway was, the proliferation of Subway circa like the mid 2000s. That's crazy. Roark owns Dunkin', Baskin-Robbins, Sonic, Arby's, Buffalo Wild Wings, and Jimmy John's. They also own Auntie Annie's, Carvel, Cinnabon, Jamba, McAllister's, Moe's, Southwest Grill, and Schlotsky's. They also invested $200 million into the Cheesecake Factory. Oh, so they got an appetizer, an entree, and a dessert? Oh, man. It do be more expensive than your average restaurant in the United States. Oh. For roughly a decade, Subway sales have fallen. Its popular $5 footlong sandwich deal and aggressive development put pressure on franchisees' profits. The chain was further hurt by the high-profile trial of former spokesman Jared Fogle. Yeah, that's definitely true. Subway ended 2022 with 20,600 locations open in the U.S., down from its peak of 27,100. It's kind of crazy. They closed like a fifth of their locations. 20K in the U.S.? That is kind of nuts, right? Isn't that like 400 Subways per state? Is my math right on that? I think it's 400 Subways per state. And that includes fucking Delaware. That's 5%, not 1/5. Oh, really? 27,100 to 20,600? That's a 5% decrease? Let me ask my niece on that one. I think she might beg to differ with you. You might not have been here, or you might have forgotten the joke from earlier, but she's 12 years old, and she's trying to get into 8th grade math. But what's funny is that taking two numbers and finding out what the percentage of one of the other one is actually like a 5th grade math sort of thing. No disrespect. I make 5th grade math mistakes all the time. I just have a lower degree of confidence. I wouldn't walk into somebody's chat and be like, hey, your math is wrong, unless I busted out the damn calculator to make sure. Surely it's earlier than 5th grade? I don't know. I went to school in Canada, okay? In the 1st grade, I don't even know if we did math in the 1st grade. We might have added like 1-digit numbers together. I remember in the 2nd grade, we learned subtraction, and me and another kid, because we were Poindexters, our teacher promised us that by the end of the year, she would teach us multiplication, and then she didn't. And I remember feeling like so betrayed, even though who cares? You're just marking time in those first few grades, in my opinion, But I definitely remember in 6th grade, we were still only doing up to like the 12 times tables, which is crazy. Was 50% a passing grade for you like it was for us? Prezzo, thank you for becoming a soldier in my army. Anytime I mention percentages or letter grades, I am beset on all sides by American 17-year-olds. What, a 50% was a pass in Canada? What? That's crazy. In America, it's a 60%. Brother, if you're getting a 58 in like high school English class, it doesn't matter whether the teacher's giving you a pass or a fail, all right? You got bigger problems. You gotta tighten your belt a little bit. You gotta show up to class. You have to do 20% of the homework. You don't have to do 100. If you do 100% of the homework, you will probably get an A. Maybe you'll get a B if it's not your area of expertise, but you'll probably get an A. You got to do do like 25% of the work. That's it, man. And also, don't even get me started on the fact that in Ontario, where I went to high school, an A letter grade is from 80% to 100%. That one really sends the Americans into a tizzy. But here's the thing, it doesn't matter, because at least when I went to school, nobody knew what a GPA was. They just took the percentage number that you got and used that as your average. So it wasn't like you had a 4.0 and that would get you into like the University of Toronto. You needed like a 94% average or whatever. And then the other thing is, Americans are going to lose their mind at this one. At some schools, there is a culture of like getting a 101% average and then going to an American, like a top American school, an Ivy League school. You know, Stanford. Is Stanford in the Ivy League? I always forget if the Californian ones count as Ivy. It's all like it was made 117 years ago or whatever. You know what I mean? Like a top 30 American school. Canada doesn't have the same culture of elite undergraduate institutions. There's like 4 really great Canadian undergraduate schools, and then there's like 50 that are all basically equivalent to each other. So if you want to really go for it, you can go to U of T, you can go for UBC, you can go to McGill. It's been a while. Maybe there's another one now. But apart from that, you know, maybe you're going to McMaster, maybe you're going to Trent. I don't know about Trent. Maybe you're going to Western. No offense to the Trent goers in chat. Oh. Laurier, Dalhousie, Concordia, SFU, etc., Queens. I hate to throw my own alma mater in there because at one point it was academically well respected, but then some high school students at KCVI flipped over a car. It was a false flag operation. It was a psyop, etc. Queens engineering jacket culture is effed up. Don't try to get me, librarian, to do another Queen's jacket bit, okay? I know you're trying to farm a video or something like that. We already spent a half hour on that before. It is like a degenerate Boy Scouts, though, for sure. But I didn't take engineering. I just lived with like 4 engineers. Yes, Elon Musk did temporarily go to my alma mater, and he did leave for a reason that was funny when I first heard it like 7 years ago, but gets funnier every 6 months past that. He said he left because there weren't enough girls in the engineering program. But not like, he wasn't like, we need to get the, he wasn't promoting gender equality. He was like, I want to meet girls. $4.72 billion. You know, we were talking earlier about Canadian universities. You know what's crazy to me is that it sounds so bad. Smart people go to Ohio State University. Like, it's not just really good football players. Like, there will be like someone will be like, I want to be a world famous physicist. I want to be a Nobel laureate, and they'll go to Ohio State University. I just never really thought about it like that. It has like 150,000 students. NL, were you not smart, or did you just want to stay in Canada? Excuse me, what the HE double hockey sticks? At the time that I graduated from high school, I went to like the 4th most prestigious undergraduate institution in Canada, okay? Well, maybe it was like 5th or 6th, but anyway, it's only afterwards that Queens suffered academic ill repute. I also got into Waterloo, okay? But my parents convinced me I wanted to get a little bit of independence, so I was like, I'm gonna go to Waterloo because it's like 5 hours away from my house. And then my parents said, well, tell you what, we'd rather keep you closer to home. How about you go to Queens, but we'll let you stay in the dorms and off campus? And I said, trade offer. I received some degree of autonomy. you receive a son that is close enough to home that you can take me to Phnom Penh restaurant once every 2 weeks for a Friday night dinner. I didn't apply for American schools because why would I? Listen, I'm not getting into Harvard. I'm not getting into Yale. I'm not getting into MIT, Caltech, et cetera, et cetera. So like those, I can understand the reason for going to. But I'm not going to, go to Boise State and pay 30 times more for my undergraduate tuition and get the same level of education as I would in Canada for like, my tuition was like $4,200 a semester in 2006 to 2010. You really think I want to move across the border and pay $22,000 to go to Wichita State? To be a University of Tennessee volunteer fan? Come on, man. Okay, I get it. You're European. It was all paid for by the taxpayer. You'll feel the burn when you're paying for everybody else's education, and the only thing that you get in return for your massive tax bill is a reliable network of social services. Yeah, then you'll be sorry. Anyway, sorry. Oh, we've discussed the subway discourse already. I couldn't agree with you more. It seems crazy to me that the entire business of Subway was sold for $9.6 billion. But the more I thought about it today, you know what I realized it might be? I think it's possible that Subway is actually borderline worthless. Like, I think that they have... Subway's not like McDonald's, right? Like I don't know why I was going to say borderline again, but McDonald's owns the land that most of its restaurants are on. Subway outsourced that all to the franchisee, right? Which made it was OP at opening franchises because they didn't have to invest much of their own capital to make it happen. It's basically like a multi-level marketing.